Just bought a ticket for a movie that I never heard of until yesterday.
Hopefully we'll have a good time. Good Time is directed by the Safdie brothers, and it stars Robert Pattinson, and it's got a supporting cast with Barkhad Abdi, who is from Captain Phillips, and it also has Jennifer Jason Leigh, who is from most recently The Hateful Eight. And I'm just going to go ahead and address the big elephant in the room. Yes, I do have a stilt on my hand. This is what happens when you're an idiot and you try to ride a bicycle that's been in the garage for years, and you think it's going to be okay, and then the chain breaks, and then you just completely fracture your hand. Yeah, that's right. I basically snapped my metacarpal bone in two. And just so you know I'm not bullshitting, here's some x-ray pictures of what happened to me. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? That just looks perfectly normal, right? That looks like a perfectly well-adjusted hand. Nothing wrong with it at all. But this just proves my dedication for film. Nothing will get in the way of me enjoying movies and talking about them. Nothing. So first off, this is an A24 film. I love A24, and I made that very clear in all of my other videos, so I don't think I have to go down the road of explaining why I love A24. But just a quick gloss over, they're an excellent studio for these really artistic independent films. They've been really reliable lately, and whenever they come out with a film, I am there. It doesn't matter if I've seen the trailer or even read the plot. If it's from A24, I will most likely be in that theater no matter what. And as far as the Safdie brothers goes, I've never really seen anything by them, unfortunately. I heard that Heaven Knows What was a pretty damn good film, but I never really got around to seeing it. The big question is, did I have a good time with Good Time? Guys, I did not have a good time with Good Time. Because I had a great time with Good Time. I knew absolutely nothing about this movie. The only thing I knew is that A24 was producing it, and that Robert Pattinson was in the lead role. That was it. This is very similar to the most recent movie that I saw called Brigsby Bear. I didn't really know much about that film either, but at least I saw the trailer to that movie. I didn't even see the trailer to Good Time, and I didn't even read the plot, so I really knew nothing about this film going into it. And holy shit, is this movie such a gem. I am honestly kind of clueless that this film was not advertised and marketed more. Sure, it's got its independent vibe to it, but man, this film was really intense and thrilling. This film is non-stop mayhem from beginning to end. Robert Pattinson gives a powerhouse performance in this film. I've only seen Robert Pattinson in one other film besides, I saw him in Water for Elephants, and I thought he was pretty good in that film as well. The film itself didn't really allow him to showcase his acting talent that much in that film, but I still thought his performance was pretty solid in that film, so besides that, this is really the only other film that I've seen Robert Pattinson perform in. And man, he was phenomenal in this movie. He was such a good actor. He's really impressed me, and he really improved on what was with Twilight. I mean, I guess Twilight was just a direction problem because this guy is a talented actor. This guy knows how to act, and he's super convincing. Throughout this entire film, I never once thought I was looking at Robert Pattinson. I really felt his character, and he embodied this character so well to the point that I was just totally forgot I was even looking at Robert Pattinson. I was looking at this guy who, by the way, Robert Pattinson plays a very despicable kind of character in this movie, and he's the lead character. So it's kind of odd because usually in film, it doesn't usually work when your lead character is a piece of human garbage. But it works in this film. I don't know. They really did it in a way that it works. There's other certain elements about his character that I'm not going to say because I don't want to completely spoil this character. But just know that he ain't a good guy. And for most of the movie, you kind of want him dead.
I want him dead!
But all of the performances in this film were great. It wasn't just Robert Pattinson, though he was the most standoutish. But everybody that was involved in this film acted very well, which kind of bridges me to the next ultimate positive that I have about this film, which is that it's directed phenomenally. I really want to see other films that the Safdie brothers has made because this film really impressed me. And this film also had a really awesome 80s style retro soundtrack to it, and it was so cool. Like, it just made you feel like a badass while you're watching it. It just does such a great job at establishing and immersing you into its nonstop, crime-ridden world of our lead character, Robert Pattinson. You really feel personal with everything that's happening in this movie. Like, for instance, this film is almost entirely just super close-up shots of everybody. There's only maybe a handful of scenes that utilize far-away shots, but for the most part, this movie is entirely close-up. And again, usually I don't like that in film. Most of the time, I think it's just a quick, easy way to get a nice, decently framed shot. Oh, how do we shoot this scene? Oh, let's just do a close-up. It'll look good. But it wasn't like that with this film. You could tell that the close-ups in this film, or the style that was chosen for this, had intention and it had meaning, and it really worked out because you really feel that you're in the thick of everything. And a lot of that has to do with those close-up shots through the entire film. And one thing that I also really liked about this film is that it's very unforgiving. I mean, sure, there is a sense of satisfaction that we kind of get towards the end, but there's so many times in this film where Robert Pattinson's character will just do something that you think that you know he's gonna do, but you don't want to believe it, but he does it. This movie is kind of disgusting, but it's so entertaining. And the morality behind Robert Pattinson's character is kind of left ambiguous for the first 25 to 30 minutes, to where you're not entirely sure whether or not you should be rooting for him or hoping for the worst for him. But it just hits a certain point in this film where you're just like, no, this guy is irredeemable at this point. This guy needs to go away. Something needs to happen to this guy before I freaking punch the screen. I know that I kind of just got off track and started talking about Robert Pattinson's character again, but really this entire film's focal point is behind his character, so it's kind of hard not to talk about it. But I'll reiterate again, this film is nonstop mayhem. I mean, from beginning to end, you are fully invested into this film. You're gripping onto your seat for not the whole film, but for the vast majority of it. This is such a gem of a movie, and I'm honestly really surprised, again, that this was not marketed out for more people. I mean, this whole film was great. It was such an interesting experience to watch this film in the theater, which, by the way, nobody was in. This was a completely empty theater. Same with Brigsby Bear. Nobody in that theater, but I loved it because I can sit there and watch a movie without any worry that anybody's going to ruin it for me. But it also kind of makes me sad because I wish more people would go out and see films like this. But this time it's not really their fault because I saw there was absolutely no marketing for this film as far as I'm concerned. I didn't see any trailers for this, and I usually am up to date with these kinds of films, so this film really came out of nowhere, but I'm so glad that I caught it. I don't know, this movie worked from beginning to end for me, and it's hard for me to really find anything that I disliked about it. So I know people are probably going to say, oh my gosh, you're just brown-nosing A24 films. You're just kissing ass to them. You're not really analyzing the films. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, everything that they come out with, I really like. Some I like better than others, but I really, really liked this film, and I think both average moviegoers and film lovers will really get something out of it, and I urge you to go see it. So I'm going to give Good Time an A+. I know. People are going to say I'm just handing out these A+s like hotcakes, but I can't help it. Like, these A24 movies are they're just working for me. I don't know what else to say. They just click with me, and there's nothing that I dislike about this film at all. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to show you my shirt just in case anybody's curious, because I've noticed recently that my subscribers have grown curious to what my full shirts look like. So if you can see it, hopefully. There it is right there. You caged my heart is what it says if it's not in frame. But yeah, my girlfriend bought that for me a few years back on Valentine's Day. I love my girlfriend. Well, thank you so much for watching my film review for Good Time. I had a great time with Good Time, and I hope everybody that I urged to go see it also has a great time with Good Time. If you've already seen it, please comment below and tell me what you thought about the film. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the Misfit Pawn channel to be updated on more film-related content.